Just to let you know, Jabu's busy calling the people for the panel blueprints. Avoid reinventing the wheel. And this is a very important topic. Herman has alluded to this twice within this morning, and a lot of people have on stage as well. How do we go about actually creating and not just copying? Hence, not reinventing the wheel, I guess. I will leave it to the speakers and Jabu while I go yell outside. Jabu, it's your time to shine.
Hey, we're shining. Same. We're shining bright like a star. Brindon, your turn.
I don't know.
I get to.
And I think the only person we're missing is Luthando. So we'll see if Luthando is here. But let's get a chair for him then already anyway. Thanks, guys. Brindon, you're moderating. Yes. There you go. And then this one I'll give to Luthando when he comes. Is everybody settled? Good lunch? Spent some sats? Got more sats to spend this afternoon and this evening? Who is not aware of the cocktail event taking place this evening? Anybody? Not sure? There we go. Right, so there's a cocktail event taking place. Wiggle car hire. But the first thing that happens here when we are done this afternoon is movie screening. So we want to try and finish here at like 4 o'clock so they can set up for the movie screen. Then come back and then it's documentary, meet the filmmakers, spend some time, have a conversation. And then from there, we're going to go to Wiggle Car Hire, which is just up the road, easy to get there, Uber, probably the best thing. And then we're going to have auctions. Bree in? Corner of Bree Street and Strand Street. It's not far from here.
And Edwin must wear shoes. I have these, are they okay?
That's semi-formal. Formal. Beach people, it's formal. Formal. Luthando, thank you very much. Ngena, Chief. Thanks, everybody. Let's give a nice, put our hands together for our panel today. Thank you to Brindon. I'll hand over to Brindon and everybody. Start the clock.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm sure we had a very great lunch. I think you should get these gentlemen water because I'm about to ask them very hard questions. So today's panel is experienced. So I won't take it easy on them. They are some of the best projects we have on the continent. I've personally visited 2 of them, and I'm hoping to visit the other 2 this year. So without further ado, I would love to skip the introductions by telling you quick facts about what I know. All the way from Ronnie. Ronnie is in East Africa's biggest informal settlement, and he's doing Bitcoin there. Humphrey is in Africa's biggest tourism destinations, or one of the biggest, Bitcoin Victoria Falls. Thank you. Mr. Edwin here has decided to turn the whole garden route into a Bitcoin hotspot. He has overseen the making of about 3 circular economies, including the most famous, world-renowned Bitcoin Witsand. And Mr. Luthando is very scary to be next to me. He's quite a big man, but orchestrator and has helped greatly in the Bitcoin Witsand project. The reason I decided to introduce them is I didn't want them to dilly-dally. We are going into the heart of, you guys have built some of the best some of the best projects on the continent. So we are going to answer only 4 questions. I hope you sip some water and you're ready. Now, the first question that I have for all of you is, what's the most expensive lesson you learned building your Bitcoin circular economy? One another builder could avoid. What's the most expensive by cost, by time, maybe even by physical aggression that some of these guys in this audience can avoid? I'll go with you, sir, first. I told them to drink water. What's the most expensive lesson you've learned building your Bitcoin circular economy that the Bitcoin builders here can avoid?
The most I did learn that by telling people the time we did introduce Bitcoin to the people that they don't have enough education, like people they are living in the painted shacks. So at the beginning, they used to come at my house if they want to make the payments to the shops, because I didn't teach them how to pay with Bitcoin. But that we did realize that this year. So these guys, they don't understand Bitcoin, and also they always need our help. So what we must do, we have to give them the task that they have to go in our Bitcoin Ekasi Center to learn more about Bitcoin. What exactly we are doing in the township, because some of them, they don't understand what is Bitcoin. They can even call Bitcoin, they are using vouchers. They are not using Bitcoin. So we are teaching them, okay, we are using Bitcoin, and then why Bitcoin is so important than fiat. So that's the thing, I want to tell the audience that we must make sure everything you do, you must make sure that you make people that you introduce them to Bitcoin, and then you must educate them before they use the tool, and then they must know what they are using before you give them some Bitcoin.
Mr. Eddie.
Yeah, so in Witsand, part of our success was to partner with businesses. And we always try to create these awareness events surrounding businesses so that the business can make some money and then we can get the word out. And at the start, what we tried is we actually tried to build businesses into new avenues instead of using the businesses what they were already good at. When you're partnering with businesses, I think look at what the business is already doing and just use those functions. Don't try to think how can you build the business bigger and stronger, and then use those businesses. Yeah, just spread the word from there, from the strengths that they already have.
That's really nice. Humphrey.
All right. For us, I could say, in fact, I'll start with this statement. When building a circular economy, ambition is a sin. Yeah, the reason why I'm saying that is because the temptation to onboard the entire city or country, it's great among, when you are first introduced to Bitcoin, you want to build a circular economy. But what we notice from our experience is trying to do that at large scale becomes extremely difficult. Because merchant adoption, from my experience, is more of relationship building. I think Brindon mentioned this area. It's more of relationship building than actually Bitcoin adoption per se. The reason is because when you approach a merchant, the reason that they will most likely accepting Bitcoin is because they trust you, not Bitcoin itself. And with time, that's when they'll learn to trust Bitcoin and they learn about it. So ambition is a sin. So try to be as small as possible.
So for us, I'll say it's an opportunity to learn. Don't go assuming you know the community needs and their problems. So one of the biggest lessons we draw from that is when you're building a circular economy, there is an opportunity for you to learn from the community, not the community to learn from you.
So what was your mistake?
Our mistake was assuming the community needed Bitcoin and the Bitcoin needed the community, sort of. So there's a lot to unlearn, especially when you're coming from a fiat mindset or a fiat way of doing things, very conventional ways. You have to think very unconventionally. Yeah.
Thank you. You want to sip some water? Or we continue? Okay. So, as Bitcoin circular economies, unless otherwise, you have to raise funds to do what you do, either as grants, either as donations, or personal funding from your own businesses. So how do you balance the urgency of raising donations today, because you need it today, because you need to do your work today, with building something that will outlast you as individuals? Because right now, most circular economies would like to say, are character-led. It's Ronnie, we know Humphrey, we know Eddie, we know Luthando. How do you resist the temptation of not going too much into raising the now funds to building a sustainable circular economy? I think I want to start with you, Eddie, because you're building multiple, so clearly you know something some people don't.
Yeah, so we've never really chased funding as a general idea. I like to think that most of my ideas are stupid, and I have a few good ideas. And to figure out which ones are good and which ones are bad, we try to raise funds for very specific projects. Like I think the surfing competition was a great, in Plettenberg Bay, was a great example where, well, we had many other ideas that just didn't get funding, and the surfing competition got the funding needed. So, and then you also don't have coffers that you can waste on things that you shouldn't be wasting it on.
So if Eddie leaves, is Bitcoin Witsand going to stay?
Yeah, I'll... I think, as I said before, using businesses, what they're...
I think I got my answer from her.
Yeah.
So that is what you need to teach all of us.
Exactly. So using businesses or business owners for what they're good at also means that somebody in the community is going to take charge of a project. Because I am not good at throwing a party. I'm not good at doing a surfing competition. There are things that I'm not good at. And a business in town will probably be good at what you're doing. So if you're raising funds for that specific project, it means that if I leave, that model can just continue.
Beautiful, beautiful. I think that deserves a round of applause. Now, the yardstick is someone in the audience complaining. Ronnie, how are you managing the urgency to get funding to do what you want to do now against building something that outgrows yourself?
I'll start by saying there's no urgency to secure any funding because, like we said, or probably I should say this again, is Bitcoin is a tool that you are incorporating into already existing activities in the community. But if you want to start a circular economy because you want to get funding, or you need funding to start a circular economy, then you are not really going to do one. So our approach probably was different. We were trying to address a problem using the existing structures that we had. So we were very naive. We didn't even know there was funding in this space from the word go, you know. So we were just working with what we had, the solutions we had. Of course, our greatest asset was the community and the time we were putting into it. So I'd say maybe time, if you can convert that into resources. We did put a lot of time, both in learning and unlearning.
Awesome. Humphrey, you look...
All right. So I feel like for the initial push, you need some form of funding for a circular economy to actually start. Yeah, so sustainability is something that we need to be thinking about. I feel like the long-term approach would be to educate the locals within the community, because for it to be sustainable, you need people to be earning Bitcoin and so that they spend. So our approach is we try to educate people, of course, about Bitcoin. In terms of this is a savings technology. And our hope is as more people save in Bitcoin or buy Bitcoin through various exchanges, if possible, they can spend the Bitcoin when they are in an emergency. When someone has savings, when they have a need, they spend the savings. But another way we are looking at it is we need people to be earning in Bitcoin. So, in fact, that's something that we've been thinking about. We are thinking about companies that we can approach if they can set up a base in circular economies and they are employing the members of the circular economy. I feel like it can support them because the funds won't be converted to fiat. It's like they'll be spending in circular economy. So I feel like that's what we need.
So you can, before you go, you can clearly tell that even the pros are still figuring it out. We are on question 3 and they need to sip water. Luthando.
Okay, like at Bitcoin Ekasi, like we have a guy that is making a mini surfboard. So like if we are doing a Bitcoin circular economy, you must think about ideas, how you can generate some funds without funding, without looking for funding. So like the guy is making a mini surfboard. You will see, all of you guys, the mini surfboard tomorrow in our booth. He's making mini surfboards, and then like we've been working with the company they call Ferries from Switzerland. We've been sending those boards to those guys, and then they sell those guys to the Plan B conference in Switzerland. So it's how we generate some fund as well. And also, like, we have a project that we do at Bitcoin Ekasi that we painted the shack. So we have a plan. We're still planning how that project can be self-sustainable without spending money out in our Bitcoin Ekasi fund. So we want that project. We want to hire someone that will be renewable, that is going to renew the shacks, the painting, and then without spending our money, the project that the company is able to pay for their logos. And then like we have to have someone that is working for that project. And then it must be able to pay that person is working in that project. At the moment, it's still myself, I'm painting the shacks. And then that thing is taking a lot of time because I have many things, other things that I have to do. So we're still planning about that. But if any of you guys, if you are going to the road trip, Mossad Bay, I will explain more details about that. And also we have a thrift shop. Slu is working at the thrift shop, is the one that is running the thrift shop. And also the thrift shop, we wanted to be able to pay Slu's salary without spending our money in our Bitcoin Ekasi project. Yeah. So my advice is that don't always look for funding. You must have some ideas. You must hire people in the township that you see, okay, you can do anything, trust, you can do anything that you'll be able to sell to other people to generate some funds. Don't always look for funding if you are doing a Bitcoin circular economy.
I'm surprised these guys answered the question, because even me, when I came up with the question, I was like, sheesh, I'm glad I'm the moderator. But it's amazing, all the responses. I think I resonate with all of them, and I appreciate you gentlemen for coming clean and telling us your secrets. Now, these secrets will not be used against you, but in the next question, I would love to attack a very sweet spot for Bitcoin circular economies. It's the presentation that Glenn made. It's all the numbers that all of you see on Twitter. My question for you guys is, beyond merchant count, the Twitter reposts, speaking on very nice stages like these ones, how do you know your circular economy is actually working? Eddie, guys, a round of applause for Eddie, please.
So this morning, listening to Oken just say the words that that Easy Sats failed. I got a little bit emotional because I was like, it feels like defeat, and I had to think about it a little bit, and I realized that my efforts, I fail hundreds of times, maybe thousands of times a year, and the way I measure like whether or not I failed was that interaction with that person. All these circular economies is nothing more than just individuals communicating with each other. It's always about the person in front of you. And I get actually quite emotional when I think about this because I have failed many people and I've also failed many times at creating a circular economy over and over, and then you get up and you just do it again. And sooner or later, it starts making sense. Sorry, carry on.
You want to sip some water, Humphrey? You can sip some water, Ronnie.
So what I would say is we are looking at this in a very different perspective, in a lens of time. That's how we are looking at it. The numbers you see on Twitter do not really represent a circular economy per se, because like I shared, for us guys, we have a very young demographics of very passionate Bitcoin adopters. They enjoy content creations. We could make 100 videos a day and litter them on Twitter. That really doesn't mean it is a measure of how successful a circular economy is. But we are looking at the things deeper, like how do the women, who have been losing value in inflation in their everyday work, how are they plugging into the Bitcoin infrastructure? How is it helping the riders, in the community? And when they do their daily savings, are they saving in fiat or are they saving in sats? Those are some of the indicators that we are trying to, to look at. Yes, we could be snoopier and I could ask Kemal, let's say, for the Blink dashboard. They know the numbers. Minmo has a feedback that they give us on the number of people who are buying Bitcoin, which has really it has kind of surprised us as well, because the data that we have from them is we have a lot of people now buying Bitcoin. In fact, there are times they would say, hey guys, you are exhausting, the channel. So maybe there are few sharks in there in the community who are doing that, but I would not really use that to measure. So what I would say is we give it time. There's no pressure. We don't have to prove to you or to anyone that, this is going to be a success, but we are building brick at a time. And we hope with time, we can incorporate as many, use cases in the community as possible into the Bitcoin standard. Yeah.
Thank you, Ronnie. That's quite interesting. You gave enough time for Humphrey to sip some water. Humphrey, how do you know it's working?
Yeah, great question. I could say one of our many sins as Bitcoin Victoria Falls is we have got too many merchants, about 100. I think, about 100 merchants. So the thing is, a circular economy is a localized thing. So you have to know the merchants. I think if you have a relationship, it's easy to actually know. You talk to them, you ask them how many people are spending Bitcoin, if they have any problem and whatever. So for the metric we look for, it's actually in the definition of a circular economy. Anyway, how I define it, because people define it in different ways. So a local system where people are earning, saving and spending. So we look, are people earning to be frank, our project, people are not earning as much. Only few people are earning in Bitcoin. We look at people saving. I think a man at one point posted something in the Telegram group that if people are spending but they are not saving, you are doing it wrong. I believe that. It's like if you see a lot of spending but there isn't any saving, it's an issue. And of course, are people spending? So one way we do it, just ask our merchants. So for example, we have like 100 merchants, but only about 10 consistently get a transaction on a daily basis. So that's how we try to measure.
I would like to request a round of applause for Humphrey. Because it's very easy for us to seek the numbers. It's very easy for us to want to stand and brag and say we have 100 merchants that accept Bitcoin. But to recognize that that is not how we build by the activity. I respect you for doing that in front of everyone.
Thank you.
Mr. Luthando,
Okay.
is it working and how do you know?
Our Bitcoin circular economy, like the really show, is working. What I do, like I do push the guys a lot not to exchange their assets to fiat. They must spend their assets in the local spaza shop that they are accepting Bitcoin as a payment. And also, like, we are pushing that a lot to the shake owners, the one we are giving sets like every month that they must not exchange their Bitcoin into fiat. And also, like, there's merchants that, like, end of the month, some merchants, they can do, like, restock, like, to buy some stock for their shops. Some guys, like, they can exchange, like, a lot of sets to restock. So I do see that, okay, the guys, they are spending. So is what I see that, okay, our Bitcoin circular economy is working. And also, like, we are giving kids rewards, and then, like, they have to go to those shops to spend their assets. We don't just go to one shop. We have many shops in our community. So we have to change shops. If this month we did spend to another shop, we have to spend to another shop. So to keep the Bitcoin circular economy flowing. So is what we do. So our Bitcoin Ekasi circular economy is working.
I don't know if you were given those 4 questions as a circular economy, if you would answer them. I'm requesting everyone who has a circular economy to just think about those whenever we are communicating and thinking about what we are doing. Because I personally spent about 3 days thinking about these questions. And these are the questions that were the most important. And I've put this gentleman in a very, very hot place, very hot seat. I appreciate your honesty because I could very much relate with it. And I want to implore everyone who is trying to build a circular economy or who is trying to actually share their time with their community, don't try to skip the time part. You cannot put the thing in forward. It's not 2x. You can't do the 2x YouTube trick. It's time, relationship building. And for us in Uganda, I will use the last 3 minutes to try and give you context on how it is. It is very different. Our circular economy is tied to children. Now, what's the measure of success if you have children and you're trying to use Bitcoin? Children don't have phones. They are not exposed to inflation because they don't have money. So what's our measure of success? 1, we look at the children's health and their knowledge about Bitcoin. Because if they're healthy and they understand that whatever is paying their bills, whatever is feeding them, is something called Bitcoin, we are winning. The merchants that supply them are our measure of success, but we said no merchants. So we go down to the merchants' lives. How are their families? How are their kids? Where they live? How does it look like? Because that's where the Bitcoin impact actually is. So we still have a very big task as circular economy builders to go back and reevaluate the relationships we have created with the community. If your relationship is to go there and record videos of you scanning QR codes and you post them for 10,000 likes, you are misplaced. And that's why we are having such platforms to address these misconceptions. Sorry, the English is going. The misconceptions that we all have about getting Bitcoin adoption happening. It's not about the external impact that you get. It's about your community and how they relate with Bitcoin. And if it means every time they are spending Bitcoin, there is a camera in front of them, if it means that every time they are spending Bitcoin, you're forcing them to put on a certain smile and position their phone a certain way, that negates the reason why they adopt Bitcoin, because whenever you spend your money, no one is filming you. So as we try to show the world that the model works, we also have to put in place ways of safeguarding our relationships with these people. So I suggest alternatives. You're going to meet a lot of people in this conference. Summarize a small cost on what it takes for people to visit your project. Instead of trying to show them on Twitter, invite them into your projects. We've personally repurposed Gorilla Sats to cater for all East African circular economies. You can go there and book a trip and go to Afribit and come to Uganda and experience it. Yes, we have to put the information out there, but the bigger focus should be on our people. We don't have a point to prove. We have people to work with. I'm late by 1 second. I hope you got value from this panel, because it takes a lot to answer only 4 questions. I thank you, gentlemen. I would like to do another round of applause for them. And gentlemen, it's been a pleasure having you on this panel, because I've also learned a lot from you, from seeing what you do, from speaking to you guys and seeing your resilience. And I think if we keep the honesty that we've exempted in building our projects, they don't stand a chance, whoever they are. Thank you so much.